It's a pity that some animals that make you happy are extinct. Although there are a lot to talk about the disappearance of species, it must be recognized, though, that you are lucky if you have not come across something more terrifying than dinosaurs or nightmarish animals roaming the earth. Extinct creatures could be stranger than you can imagine, but there are versions of those extinct animals still roaming, and you can find their modern versions that could have destroyed the world. So let's explore space and time and be astounded by the terrifying prehistoric animals that you are glad are extinct. And for some extra fun, find our mascot Ned hiding throughout the video. The American lions. If you're a cat lover, you may have dreamt of petting a lion or a cheetah cub, or maybe even just meet an adult. Africa. Savannas and grasslands have many secrets inside, and lions and cheetahs know them all, which is why they are the main predators. In Africa, if you come across a lion or a cheetah, you may not survive unless you know how to survive the attack. But in the Americas, that doesn't happen, right? Well, if you're walking through the forest and a lion larger than the modern African passes, you should know that you're facing the American lion. But don't worry, this one went extinct over 13,000 years ago. There are only cougars and jaguars, animals much smaller than the prehistoric king of the Americas. This American giant, who experts say was more like a tiger than a lion, was one of the largest predators to hunt before the better-known and less terrifying cougars and panthers of today. The scariest rhino. Rhinos, for some people, can be ordinary animals such as a lion or a gazelle that inhabits the savannas of Africa. But in the past, it was like a big elephant. Much more than that. The truth is that it could have been the largest mammal that ever existed on Earth. The Paraceratherium, it was 5 times heavier than rhinos today. It did not have the horn that so distinguishes the rhinos of today, but had teeth compared to the size of elephant tusks of different sizes and shapes. If you walked on them, you will feel like you were actually jumping over rocks on a river. Its gigantic tongue was like whitewater rafting currents due to its ability to sweep clean the branches of trees. And although it did not have the horns for protection, the truth is, he did not need it. The world's biggest swan. Observing the sea is a fascinating activity. You can find in more than waves. Watching whales or other animals break the water is very awe-striking. And if you are in the Mediterranean Sea, you can see not only islands, but from one continent to another. And between continents, you will see the island of Malta. Located south of Italy, the island of Malta was home to some mysterious animals that will make you glad that they no longer exist. Swans, majestic and charming creatures to see, with their large wings and long necks. But not all swans were cute as they are today. Known as Cygnus falconeri, the largest swan in the world, as tall as a basketball player, inhabited the islands along with small elephants that were slightly larger than a greyhound dog or a pony. According to research, although it had giant wings, it was not able to fly due to its heavy body. Well, surely its gigantic wings, as long as a car, will have served as an awning for those little elephants to shelter a little from the sun. Although we don't know if there was a friendship between them that made this service possible. Or it could be that, on the contrary, it took advantage of its sheer size to eat the tiny elephants? I think we'll never know the answer. The most dangerous jaws. Can you imagine if the cute possum that eats ticks and keeps your garden rat-free could eat a horse? As big as a brown bear, but more like a tiger than a possum? Run and hide, because here is the thylacoleo, or pouched lion. Prehistoric Australia. Thylacoleo was one of the most terrifying prehistoric carnivores. It had stronger jaws than those of a lion, with large pointed teeth more like those of a jaguar. This giant marsupial lion had the ability to jump long distances with curved claws like arches that helped him climb trees. But with them, he could also cut his prey, having as a main dish, for example, a kangaroo. This predator was the most feared marsupial that have ever existed. Ancestral Serpent. Going to the beach is an adventure. Sun, sand, breeze, surely a story to tell. Super relaxing. Although you can get also surprised. Sometimes we think that what exists is what you can see with your own eyes, but what else can you see? There is an underwater world that you cannot even imagine. Beneath the sea surface, there is a variety of strange species. Many eyes watching you that may not be very friendly. Marine plants, coral, crabs, and even snakes. Evidence of a newly discovered living fossil when it appears, it becomes headline news. On a beach in Hawaii, a photograph that had circulated on the internet reveals that a strange and frightening prehistoric creature was breached on shore. Similar to a snake and with sharp teeth like a shark, it stole the eyes of tourists and won a place in their cameras. The report indicated that this ancient snake inhabited the beaches of Australia and the southern Philippines. Although there are many monstrous animals found on the beaches, this particular snake turned out to be nothing more than a fabrication by Alan Fritzwell for his blog. The living armored tank. It is common that you're driving your car and a deer appears that makes you stop. But what if it was an animal as big as a tank? Relax. This armored dinosaur disappeared along with his entire family about 65 million years ago. The Ankylosaurus was an herbivore as long as a lamppost you will find in the streets of your city. Just like today's armadillos, its body was covered with brown armor with a few black spots. Of course, not as big as your Dalmatian dogs. And it also featured a few small banana-like spikes cut in half. Creatures ruined by evolution. Maybe not. Evolving is synonymous with change and transformation. If you're lucky, every decision you make will take you to your destination. But what if each supposedly good decision leads you to something completely opposite? Well, it could not only happen to you. It has already happened to some species that had genetic changes. Instead of becoming bigger and stronger like a great lion, they became tiny and limited like a mouse. This is the case of the raccoon, that previously was a Hyaenodon gigas, or hyena tooth. This aggressive hunter was the size of a horse with jaws as long as a crocodile, looking more like a hyena than a cute raccoon. But how did this ferocious beast become like this? Well, natural selection. According to research, the Hyaenodon giga was replaced and hunted by larger, more aggressive predators, leaving specimens of the smaller, cunning Hyaenodon on their way to proliferate. Time passed. A long, long time. And the raccoon became the survivor of this ruined evolution. But they're so beautiful, I think they turned out great, didn't it? Saber-toothed Tiger. Tigers, you think of strength and splendor, but also a wild animal. A carnivorous predator that lives in forests and savannas, with which it will be better not to be face to face if you can avoid it. And what if you imagine a tiger but bigger, with fangs that are scarier? Meet the most feared tiger of the prehistoric age, the saber-toothed tiger, an ancient kitten of fragile, long, and curved canines. Yes, you heard me. Remotely related to modern lions, tigers, and cheetahs, and belonging to the Smilodon family, it had jaws that, although they could be open as wide as scissors, could not bite very hard because they could break a tooth like a glass vase. Although not a simple cat like the one you find at home, you could probably fall in love with the saber-toothed tiger. Giant Dragonfly. Road trip to change weather can be relaxing and fun. If you live in cold weather, you will probably choose a warmer one for your vacation, even if you have to face a swarm of mosquitoes or other insects. If you think that you could solve everything with a fly swatter, Take off your glasses because to see this one, you do not need them. About the length of an arm, meet the gigantic dragonfly. The Meganeura, an insect so big that meeting it could leave you paralyzed. Its size, the size of kidney beans, are out of the ordinary as it is its hunting style. Modern dragonflies use their legs to hunt, but the Meganeura has a more terrifying method. It uses its large jaws to catch flying insects, small amphibians, and reptiles. But calm down. Fortunately for us, this giant dragonfly no longer exists. Titanoboa. You may have seen a snake, either in real life or on TV, and it will cause some chills or curiosity. And if you thought that the reticulated python was the largest in the world, guess what? You're wrong. Titanoboa is the name of the extinct genus of snakes that lived 58 to 60 million years ago. In the swampy jungles and forests of South America, if you hear his name, for sure, think of a monstrous giant snake, the largest, longest, and heaviest ever discovered. As long as a 6-story high building, it could swallow a crocodile. Leaving dinosaurs aside, Titanoboa was the largest predator on planet Earth for millions of years. In the past, people were able to see larger snakes than modern ones. Neither you nor I could see them now, but who really knows what exists under the Earth at this time? Evolutionary Error? In the world, there are around 18,000 species of birds, from small hummingbirds to giant monsters like ostriches. As tall as a basketball player, ostriches are not the largest flightless bird. In the past, there was one nearly twice as tall as an ostrich. The Strutinoform, these ancient birds could not fly, but like ostriches, they could run at high speed on their strong legs. If you could use them as a means of transportation, you will feel like traveling in a car at average speed. Their beaks, like those of a vulture, could penetrate the skins of large prey. But not all Strutinoforms evolve as majestically as the ostrich or the cassowary. In New Zealand, the adaptation led them to become the kiwi, a bird smaller than a chicken, and in South America, the rhea, a very small version of the Australian emus. Short-faced bears. Bears are small today. In the past, it seems like every animal was bigger, stronger, and more terrifying. When we imagine bears, the biggest one that comes to mind may be the North American brown bear or even the polar bear. But the bears of the past were twice as heavy. The short-faced bear bear its name because of its shorter nose. This feature made it have a more powerful bite than modern bears. With longer legs, it could move faster too. Good thing we only have the bears of today. The largest looks like a baby next to those colossal mammals. I hope you enjoyed this journey through space and time in search of the animals that we are glad have become extinct or have at least evolved into something really cute. There is always an opportunity to discover the world and find never-before-seen beautiful species that may have been terrifying in the past. When you travel, take your camera and print those memories. Thank you for watching this video, and see you next time! Remember to click the bell icon after you subscribe so you can get instant notifications of all our new videos.